Life can only be understood backwards. The famous quote from an 18th century Danish philosopher, Soren Kierkegaard. Years later, Steve Jobs said, "You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards." How these words have rung true for me. I am a failed computer science graduate that flunked his first year of college. I got put on probation because my grades were too low for the scholarship that the college had given me. And I had to do summer school for 3 years to be able to graduate on time. I did not know then that getting a 1.0 GPA transcript would completely change the course of my life. However, at the time, listening to my father's voice, yelling because he was disappointed in the grades I had, I wanted my life to be over. I had a keen interest in technology from a very early age. We did not have a lot of money, so I spent my holidays at my dad's office, pulling apart computers that he was not using, taking apart the X386 down to its bare components, and then putting them all back together so that it would start working again. But it did not work all the time. There were many times when I would miss a wire or I would put a chip in the wrong place. And then I had to make that quick SOS call to the computer engineer so that I could get the computer fixed before my father found out. However, after several months of these SOS calls, right, I finally started to get a hang of how this computer worked. And this was really my own jugaad way of playing Lego. My keen interest in computers led me to believe that I should pursue computer science as my engineering degree. I believed that I got a scholarship, therefore, that further validated my belief that I actually might be good at computer engineering. However, I have never been so wrong about my own abilities as I was then. I hated every minute of staying up and working on code, drinking large cups of coffee on those cold Texas nights, and writing pages and pages and pages of code. It was doubly frustrating to miss a comma here or there, and then that would lead to a syntax error, and then would again lead to hours and hours of going through my already written code to figure out the error. My inability to master the subject got reflected in my grades. I was lost in class, I regularly flunked tests, I regularly missed class, and despite the best efforts of my professors, I was a lost cause. What was truly ironic was that I actually roomed with 4 computer science graduates. Therefore, they just got and they loved every single thing that I hated. I feared telling my parents about my falling grades and that the fact that I did not like computer science because, we all are that way. But I also made a plan to make sure that my parents did not see the transcript. I got a friend to camp out at home and wait till the transcript came in, and then she quickly flicked that transcript, destroyed it, and ensured that my parents never got to see how low my grades were. But my college turned out to be smarter than I was, right? So they sent another letter to my parents talking about how I was on probation and my grades were too low, and if I did not improve my grades in the next semester, I could lose my scholarship. I can still remember the ringing feeling in my ear as my father yelled his heart out, on a cross-country call, telling me that my career in the US was over and I should come back home and start college over there. However, I told him that I was not coming back, that I would not come back till I graduated. And while I did not have a clear plan when I put down that phone call, my first order of business was to get out of computer science. Exactly 3 years later from that day, I graduated with a double major in business administration and economics. I could see from the stage that my parents' eyes were tearing up, and they could not hold back their emotions as I received my college degree. During the campus visit, every single professor referred to my parents by their name, and they got wined and dined because my professors wanted me to pursue a PhD in economics. I did not pursue further higher education though, but neither does this story end over there. A senior from the business administration stream, somebody I would have never met in the computer science stream, got me an interview with the CEO of a fast-growing energy startup in Dallas called Stream Energy. After my interview, my college senior, Samir, asked me to attend what was a sales training seminar for the direct sales team that sold for Stream. He sold me on the training by saying, you're going to meet the coolest Indian that he had ever met. To which I said, Samir, I am actually the coolest Indian that you have ever met. Despite my reservations and despite, my reluctance to go in, I was, after all, under an obligation because he got me that interview. So I joined the sales training very, very reluctantly. It was here that my life changed once again. I met the mentor that I would have for the next 5 years, and somebody who would teach me how to sell any product and service to anyone at a price that I wanted. He mentored me to create a nationwide sales force of over 500 people, and we sold long-term energy contracts to small and medium business owners across the country. My role required me to cold call, walk into at least 50 to 60 businesses per day and meet with 20 to 30 business owners on a daily basis and understand their power requirements. My mentor's sole instruction, though, was that I had to get kicked out of 5 businesses every single day. That was a requirement of the job. Because if I wasn't getting kicked out 5 times a day, it meant that I wasn't asking for business hard enough. And I had to call him every time I got kicked out. But I also had to understand these businesses at a very minute level because I had to prepare customized pricing proposals for the businesses to match the requirements of their business. Over the course of 8 years of being in this space in the US, I met over 100,000 business owners. I contracted everyone from the highest revenue generating Dunkin' Donuts in the world, which is located in Chicago, to all the independent businesses that I signed up at the cross street of South 14th Street and Butternut Street in Abilene, Texas. The chance to get to see these businesses from a very close vantage point, and the fact that I could talk and build rapport with so many business owners, I had no idea what impact I would have later on in life. Ultimately, my mentor also gave me my break in entrepreneurship. My mentor's name, by the way, Michael Germana, MJ as we call him. We ran that business after acquiring it from him for 3 years, and the exit from that business was actually the capital utilized to invest into startups like Purple, Tala, Exotel. It's the first few stellar companies coming out of Artha India Ventures' portfolio. Interestingly, my first ever equity investment in a startup was also due to MJ. He got me shares in a company called in Stream Energy, whose energy vertical got sold to NRG last year. NRG is a Fortune 500 company, and this deal happened at $300 million, which was quite exciting for all the investors, obviously. All these successful investments encouraged over 50 individuals and family offices to back India's first early stage micro VC fund, started by me, called Artha Venture Fund. The fund has current investments in companies like Agnicool, Lane Lane Club, Dalchini, Everest Fleet, Jadu's Entertainment, and employs over 2,000 people directly, and also impacts the lives of hundreds of thousands of people every single day. Now, none of this could have happened if I hadn't flunked the first year of college. My failure in pursuing a computer science career ended up being the best mistake of my life. Sometimes I wonder how different life could have really been if that massive ripple had never taken place. It is here that I remember the last 6 lines of John Whittier's poem that all us door-to-door salesmen are made to memorize for those tough days of sales when we come back home without selling anything. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint in the clouds of doubt. And you can never just tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's only when things seem worst that you must not quit.